they're coming to the front, I would like to thank the entire Secretariat team. They know that nothing could have been done without them. That day and night, they worked very hard to make this all possible. And I also like to thank the ILO Brazil team with Lara, Nathanael, and Fernanda. Dennis, Renato, whom I have not met yet, but whom I've been told is amazing. Rodrigo, too. So, all of the persons who supported us so that everything worked well. And also our colleagues from the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, the one who's always with us, Adriana, Adriana Maia, and the other Monica, too. I'm not sure where she is, but in fact, she was going from one side to the other, always. She was always able to help us with everything we needed. So thank you so very much. And to all of you focal points, we owe a great deal to you. We know that you came here in difficult conditions. Everything was done in a very short period of time. In terms of organization, I hope that we don't run into the same thing again. But we have different things happening this year. Last year was the per diems. This year were tickets, and we're going to have new difficulties next year. So I always tell people you to smile. It's better to have smiley wrinkles than frowning wrinkles. So we know that we can advance, and the objective is to continue with our mandate. And the employers, workers, government, we would like to thank you. And Roberto has great news to share with us. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to let him know. And we have um, a notification. The box is filled with balls, and it's a bit fake, but it is here for you to take pictures. But don't touch it too much because it's just like child labor. It's very vulnerable. If you touch it too much, the balls will fall out. So thank you very much. And we will see each other in 3 weeks remotely on the screen. Thank you very much. Beth, sit down where you'd like to do so. We're all at home here. I think Fernanda, who's our hostess, will share with us her farewell remarks. Well, first of all, after all of the thanks that have been given by Pilar on behalf of the ILO, I think it is important for us to thank the Brazilian government for having offered the Itamaraty Palace as the headquarters for the celebration of the 10th anniversary of the regional initiative. This is an emblematic space for us to be together celebrating these 10 years. As in it was in Brazil that we had the idea to create this very important network. So thank you, Roberto and Monica and Ana Carla for being here with us, helping us make this meeting happen. I believe that these are 10 years since the Declaration of Brasilia that was in 1213 during the third conference. Actually, 11 years ago, the Declaration of Brasilia of 2013. And so the exercise of elaborating and drafting a declaration is in fact very important for us. With an extremely interesting result, we had this meeting. So that's it. I'd like to say that it is each and every one of our efforts that make meetings like this to happen and work out. And this fight that we have to eradicate child labor can, in fact, take place. So these are coordinated efforts amongst the many institutions that are hereby present. And I believe that the next decade will be even more successful and with even more positive results that are conquered in a tripartite and coordinated manner and as a group. So thank you very much. May we all have a wonderful trip back home and a few caipirinhas after a long week. Colleagues, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the government focal points during this closing session. I would like to first of all congratulate the Technical Secretariat of the Regional Initiative, the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, and the ILO office in Brazil for organizing this event. We know how difficult it is to organize an event of this magnitude involving so many persons from so many different places, but everything was perfect. I would also like to greet representatives from our Brazilian Cooperation Agency, the focal points, the regional initiative, employers, employees, and government. We had an amazing example of what social dialogue is this afternoon alone and how we can get to a consensus. So we had a lesson of social dialogue for all who are still not very close to the topic. For Brazil, it is an honor to have hosted the 10th meeting of focal points of the Regional Initiative for Latin America and Caribbean Free of Child Labor. And here in Brasilia in 2013, we planted the seed here in Brasilia for the creation of the Regional Initiative. And it is also in Brasilia that we have met 10 years later, working to construe a new stage of life of this initiative. We had an excellent week of work, and I'd like to highlight a few points that are very important that we debated upon and discussed during the sessions. First of all, I'd like to highlight the challenges that we need to overcome in our quest for the eradication of child labor from our continents. The first is to understand the reality of child labor, and in this point, we still face a reality of difficulty, the lack of data, difficulty in accessing data, especially about the worst forms of child labor. And the data and information are indispensable so that we can attain our targets. And this was exactly one of the highlights, both in our declaration as well as in the actions we. The second challenge is accelerating the rhythm at which we must reduce child labor in order for us to attain the target. We know how difficult attaining a target is that comes to an end next year, but on the other hand, we have no doubt about the need to accelerate our efforts in order for eradication to be attained. The third challenge, which was very much spoken about during the meetings, is the facing of the structural causes that lead children and adolescents to situations of child labor. It's not easy to face these structural causes. However, it is extremely necessary that we do so. And to overcome these and other challenges, important issues were addressed during this week: the reduction of informality and the assurance of decent labor for adults as an element for the prevention of child labor, the social protection for workers, for families, that was so spoken of in the Durban conference, and that we could share with you what the Brazilian experience was in the social protection policies, awareness raising and information, permanent actions that must be carried out, actions to raise awareness about child labor and how, and we could not forget to mention labor inspection and the work of labor inspectors, which is an institution that is historic and extremely important for the eradication of child labor. And these actions that I mentioned are only a small parcel of the wide array of actions that can be carried out, and they're extremely important for the eradication of child labor. However, it is important for these actions, for them to have greater capacity to allow us to overcome the challenges we have listed. They must be carried out in a coordinated fashion that is institutionalized and based on evidences and with the participation of employers, workers, government, and also civil society. Our participation in the regional initiative as focal points is an opportunity for us to improve and develop these actions and these policies for the eradication of child labor. We have a facilitating space for an exchange of experiences, we have a strategic plan, and we have a regional program for the acceleration to eliminate child labor, amongst other actions. And now we have an observatory with data and information on the countries that are part of the initiative. The initiative has been keeping strong over the past 10 years, and for it to maintain the same manner for the next 10 years, we need to have special attention to key elements that are the proposals for the strengthening of governance and financial sustainability. And amongst these, I'd like to highlight the importance of strengthening the tripartitism and the governance structure that is currently in effect, as well as the proposal to institutionalize the technical secretariat of the regional initiative as a unit, a permanent unit in the organizational structure of the ILO office. About the integration of regional initiative and the 8.7 alliance, I believe that Latin America and the Caribbean have a great deal to contribute to the good practices for other countries based on the exchange of experiences by means of the cooperation, the South-South cooperation. Finally, and this is a message of optimism, I'd like to share with you that in 2022, child labor in Brazil had increased, including the numbers pertaining to the presence of children and teens in the worst forms of child labor, and this was the reason of great concern by all of us in Brazil who fight against child labor. With the resuming of public policies and improved economic indicators and resumed anti-child labor activities, this morning we received the news that we have gone back to the reduction of child labor in Brazil. We have attained, according to the last data disseminated this morning at 10 a.m., the lowest numbers of child labor in Brazil's history. We had a decrease of 14.6% in total and 22.6% in the worst forms of child labor. We have the lowest rates of child labor in Brazil's history with 4.2%. And this demonstrates very clearly that all of the work that we are carrying out, all of our efforts are worth it. On the other hand, we do still have a large number of children and teens who are in child labor situations in Brazil. In Brazil, we still have 1.6 million children and adolescents in child labor, 580,000 of which in the worst forms. Therefore, we cannot lose focus in combating child labor. Children and teens must still continue to be our main priority, and the eradication of child labor must also be and remain an absolute priority for governments, international organizations, and may this give us even more vitality because we have a long way to go. Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank our friends who have hosted us in this Focal Points meeting. I'd like to thank you for the warm welcome, for the warm stay. You allowed us to be in this beautiful place for this meeting. I would like to Thank you very, very much for granting us this space. And I'd like to speak to you, focal points, workers, employers. I'd like to thank you for having reached what we did in our 10th meeting because this is a demonstration of dedication so that we can join efforts to eradicate child labor in our region. We have a short way to go until 2025, and the target is still to eradicate child labor. And we want to be the first region to do so. We've had the opportunity to celebrate our history. We've also had the opportunity to reflect and to make our accomplishments visible as a regional initiative. It has not been easy. We have been having challenges from mobilizing to being in agreement with all points, but we have been doing this in light of an objective the girls and the boys and the adolescents of our region. We also have important framework as the instruments that the regional initiative has given to us. And this year, the announcement of the observatory is very important, the regional observatory. And this has allowed us to have advanced mapping about the different progress of each of the country's region's country, and also the creation and maintenance, as well as the use of such tools, which are all of great need in order for us to attain the target of preventing and eliminating child labor. May us continue to focus on the international norms, on the fundamental conventions 138, 182, in order to assure that these actions be in alignment. The progress report of the strategic plan as well has shown us that we are on the right path. However, it also reminds us that we need to accelerate our efforts. We are almost in 2025 and there's still a long way to go. The technological instruments for monitoring actions are a key example of how we can use innovation to strengthen our fight. In addition, the South South collaboration and triangular collaboration has been stressed as a fundamental pillar so that we can advance toward a region free of child labor. In our roundtables, we have discussed how to strengthen the regional initiative and how this platform for dialogue can be strengthened. But once again, I'd like to summon all of us to really live this. It's not a platform, it's the platform for the prevention of child labor. Prevention and the platform for social dialogue at the level of Latin America and the Caribbean. We should take this message forward that whoever we are and wherever we are, we need to take this message forward.
And also identify the synergy and the complementarities that this it has to guarantee that we complement each other. We generated a consensus. We had an example of that. We didn't stand up and leave the auditorium, although it's a beautiful day. We finally reached our consensus, and we know that this is the key to strengthen the collaboration of the different actors. So, this is an approach that strengthens the protection of the rights for children, and it's fundamental for all of us. I would like to encourage all of you that we can continue this energy and this commitment, and that we maintain the same energy. And we invite all of you to continue working together to strengthen the voice of our region and all of the forums that we are in. And to make this concrete, we are going to commit to our strategic plan, and the task that we have ahead of us is huge. But together, summing all of our efforts as providers, government representatives, we can make a huge difference in adolescents and children's lives. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank the hosts of this space from the labor and the from the worker sector. We are very happy that we finished this week and we fulfilled the first goal, which was to celebrate the 10th anniversary of this regional initiative. But also, it was a space for us to celebrate and to advance in a collective manner in the construction of a path towards the future related to child labor. And also highlight that without a doubt, as we have been highlighting since yesterday, just talk about the situation, the how this platform has been essential because it's a definitive way for us to talk about the tripartite power that we have and to reinforce the states here present, the implementation of public policies that are indismissible and that we want to eradicate child labor completely. Of course, it's the data show that we have an evidence that how this collective work is fundamental, and although we have crises multiply in our region, we continue advancing in this sense. So I think that by beginning with this, this reminds us of the lots of work that we still have to do ahead of us. And for this, we need to think about how to reinforce the initiative to continue with this effort. We continue having many challenges. We have been seeing this due to the governance, to the space, but the discussions that took place here allowed us to advance in a collective manner. We highlight the work that has been done by the initiative, by the technical secretariat, and it's really important to highlight it and to assure its sustainability as a pillar. So, as we have been seeing this in the agreements, this permanent agreement in ILO is really important. And it's also fundamental that we have a holistic point of view in the connection with the challenges worldwide and the protection for the education and for the intersectionalities that affect in an unequal way the girls and adolescents, especially in the female gender and the migrants. And as workers, we promote a alternative development to the current role that puts the life in the center. That's why I continue summing efforts for a world with social justice and free of child labor. Thank you. So everyone is gonna get a copy from the declaration, and let's make a picture with the declaration at hands so that we can say that here is a picture with the declaration. We're going to distribute among you so that we can make this picture. We thank the effort for of everyone. We thank you all so much, everyone, for the effort for this declaration. But at the end of the day, that means so much because it compiles everything that we have been talking about in these 4 days. And as it was commented before, it's a social dialogue of encounter and what is this original initiative. So let's continue and make this picture happen, and then the family photo with everyone. So whoever wants to make a picture as well can come and be part of it. But these main ones we need to do together.
A ver, toda la gente de Secretaría Técnica, Ruiz, es que no estoy viendo. ¿Y dónde está Rizel? ¿Dónde está Dani? Claudia, Mónica, Rizel, o sea, allí veo, ¿quién está? Es que no veo nada. Lara, no sé dónde está, es que no veo.
Lara, where are you? I don't see you. Where are you? Who else?
¿Se te ve? Venga, diga. Más juntas. Não tem lugar mais alto atrás para funcionar? Não tem. Vamos colocar mais alguém atrás para poder. Tem muita gente aqui na frente. Como sabe que ele vai ter que meter todo mundo na outra fila.
No pasa nada. Yo te entendí lo que quisiste decir.
Es que yo me di cuenta por tu risa, si no, no cae.
Décima reunião de
Sí,
notas
claro.
focais.
Ya.
Itamaraty!
Itamaraty, que sonría.
Agora no vídeo, barulho, todo mundo pra cima, hein?
Ah, ok.
3, 2, 1.
Já acabou!
Todos los trabajadores. Ya vengan. Ya, ven.
You're distancing yourself from the Bahamas. Oh, you're looking, yeah. You got yours already?
Rapidito, Reza. Ah, toma.
This one, right? This one. Yeah. This one. Yeah. is weg. Make one of the shaking hands. Oh. Now if you. Nathaniel? Foto control. Espera. Second. Ahora sacas uno. The Suriname flag is in the palace. Did you see? Oh, you should take a picture outside. Está aquí, el ministro. Aquí. Vas a encontrarlo, ¿no?
Un bilateral.
A ver, la Secretaría Técnica o foto o organizamos otra conferencia dentro de 2 meses. Elegir. Pues venir para la foto, anda.